Welcome to the Harshie podcast with myself, January Harshie.
And myself, Brandon Harshie.
What episode is this for us?
This is 9.
Is
number
it 9? Okay, I thought it was 10.
Nope, number 9.
I got ahead of myself.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, for those of you that have been waiting for this episode, it's a few days late, and I'm sorry for that. I have been very ill, and it's not something that is going to clear up in a few days. It's something that I'm going to be dealing with for a little while. So that is why we are late getting it out, and I'll talk more about what I'm going through maybe later or maybe next week Yeah,
it's not going to be a little while. It's going to be a long while.
Yeah, that's okay. So,
but yeah, more on that at a later date.
I don't know. Are there any announcements that we need to make?
We are selling mugs and sports bras.
That's right. We are doing a limited edition design and amount, actually, like small amount. We only are doing 100 of each of the Birth Without Fear rainbow sports bras. And it's rainbow font on black sports bras. And the rainbow Birth Without Fear on a mug. Right. And then I can't wait to get some more of those mugs.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're only doing 100 of each at this time.
I think the mugs are over half gone already.
Okay.
Yeah. And we just announced it the other day, and I haven't even shared anything else again because I haven't been on social media in about 5 days. So
right.
Yeah. So if you want one, go to selflovegeneration.com or harshie.blog/store and grab one. Any other announcements right now? I don't think so.
No, not that I know of.
Right.
Is it a backslash or forward slash? I can't tell.
Know. Just
people say
I feel
both.
like people can figure it out.
Slash.
Oh, yeah. So this week we're going to talk about something that I have been asked to speak on for a long time, or talk about or post about, and that is homeschool. We are currently homeschooling 5 of our 6 children, technically. And I get asked about it often. And I don't like answering questions about it. But I figure why not do a podcast about it? So the first thing people usually ask me is, so you homeschool, do you love it? And my answer is no.
No.
I think people expect me to be like, oh, this has been my dream for my whole life, and it's rainbows and sprinkles and sunshine and pots of gold, and
unicorn farts.
That's right. And that's not the case. Our kids have been in school before, actually. They have not always been homeschooled.
Right.
And it's not that I have a love for it. It's just what is best for our family right now. It's really what it comes down to. And you have to weigh the pros and cons of what's best for your family. Many times take it kid by kid, year by year as well. So it's not my fantasy life by any means. Probably once a day I fantasize, if you want to know what my fantasies are, about dropping them all off at school and having my day with you, Brandon, until we have to pick them all up again. Sounds lovely. We've done that before, so I know it's lovely.
We should say we have had them in school before.
I did say that.
A period of time where before Beard Baby was born, which you can hear all about in last week's episode.
That's right.
Episode number 8. Before she was born, where all 5 kids would be in school. And it was like party time for 6 hours for us.
Well, we actually really worked, but we got to...
We did, yeah. We did
But we
some
got
work.
to, if we wanted to grab breakfast, we could. If we wanted to... But we were able to talk and to work.
We went to what? You said if we wanted to... And then you went on.
I don't know. Do you know how tired I am and how much pain I've been in? And you can't stop me and ask me to clarify. We could do what we wanted.
Yes.
If we wanted to go to breakfast, or we wanted to talk uninterrupted, or, work together. And it was actually
have sex during the day.
Oh my gosh. I guess that's true.
It was the life.
So why are we homeschooling, right? That's the question. And
what happened here?
Really, I I started traveling a lot and doing a lot of events, and sometimes our family would travel with me. And, when they're in school, they can only miss so many days, and we just don't want to deal with all of that. So because of traveling and just wanting to spend time with them when I'm home, or if I wanted to say, you know what, this event, you guys are all going with me, we needed that flexibility, so that's why we switched to homeschooling, and now it's just kind of what we do. But I think the biggest thing when you switch to homeschooling, or if you're homeschooling, is getting used to different expectations of what school's supposed to look like. We have this ideal that it's like you're supposed to be working on schoolwork from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then, when you go to school, then you have homework too, which that makes no freaking sense to me. How are you going to have my kid from 8 to 3 and then send them home with more work? Like, you didn't, what?
It makes less sense when you're the student.
Yeah.
I do remember that from school.
Get that shit done while they're there. Thank you very much. Like, you already don't have a lot of time with them once they get home, or any after school activities, and then dinner, and then you have to do, ain't nobody got time for that. I don't understand that.
It's one of the key reasons why I didn't get better grades in school.
Because you just didn't do it?
I refused to do 90% of my homework. I just hated doing it.
Yeah.
So I just wouldn't do it.
Well, I mean, when you think of it in a common sense way, it doesn't make sense, especially in elementary school. No.
Thank goodness there was no homework in chiropractic school. I might not have passed.
That would have been. Well, you did study a lot. That was.
I did
homework.
study. Yeah.
Your day is not going to look like that. There's no way that you can have your children at home and be schooling from 8 to 3. Like, it just doesn't work. So that's hard sometimes, and for some people, especially, it's just to change that. It's almost like you have to de-school a little bit. And when people ask questions like, what do you do, and what curriculum do you do, and what do your days look like? Those are actually not simple questions to answer, because it's going to look different for everyone. And I remember asking other moms or older moms when I was in my 20s those questions, and they didn't really know how to answer it. And now I understand why.
Yeah.
And it changes, and it can change day to day, month to month, year by year. So we started out with a curriculum that was religious based, and videos, and, teachers taught on the videos, and they did the work. And that lasted only like 6 months maybe, because it just wasn't right for all the kids. And we also left the church, but which you can listen to on
episode number 5.
There you go.
Mormons and Heathens.
So,
and also with that particular program, it was a lot of hours each day of schoolwork. It was more hours of schoolwork than they would actually get in school.
It was very rigid.
Yeah, I remember when we did have them in school, half the time they were watching movies or going to another class and doing some busy work, because half the time teachers were gone because other grades were doing testing. And so, so I mean, maybe a third of the time they were actually doing lessons and learning and schoolwork, but the rest of it just wasn't applicable. So that much work during the day just does not even happen in regular public schools. So why should it for us? Mm-hmm. That was my thought.
Yeah. And so we switched curriculum, and we went to more of a workbook type homeschool program. And then we switched some of the children. Now they're all doing a little bit different. Like, some of the children are doing more, they thrive on researching their own stuff and doing the basics and workbooks, and then working on projects and doing their own research. And some other children thrive on, a program that is laid out on the computer, and they get on and they do a certain amount of lessons per day. I think I still, even this is our second year in full time, all the kids, we still have to work through these expectations of what we think we need to be doing, and what they need to be learning, and how much they need to be at it, and what our days need to look like. I think we actually drive ourselves crazy sometimes over our expectations. We're working through this even now.
I certainly do. And it was revealed to me tonight that I should not.
Well, it's interesting, because my grandmother said to Brandon, she said, I threw a fit when you guys decided to homeschool, because I just feel like they should have been in school and they need to be learning in school and, blah, blah, blah. And she said to him tonight, because a lot of the homeschooling has fallen on Brandon because of me traveling and whatnot. And now we're working it out where we're doing the load together. But she said tonight, just talking to your children, they are so well educated and they're so far ahead of the curve and they're just smart and kind and you guys have just done a great job. And I looked at him and I was like, you see, he's always, saying we're not doing enough and he's not doing enough and whatnot. And so sometimes you really just have to step back and just kind of check your expectations and also realize every child is different. Some kids who just thrive on book stuff and math and other children who don't, and that's okay. And that's kind of the beauty of it, though, is that you can hold space for each kid to thrive on what they're gifted at and what they're talented at. And then, get through the other stuff that they might struggle with, but it's okay. They're allowed to, they're at home and it should be a kind of safe space to do that in.
Yeah. And it's interesting because talking about it right now, I'm realizing right now, having been through all of my primary education and then, you go to college and your secondary education and then going through chiropractic school and really being in school until I was 30, I was always subject to constant standardization, whether it's you're in high school or college, you're always being tested. You always have to get past this test. And in chiropractic school, you have to pass your 4 national board exams to be able to get your license. I'm realizing it's this deep-rooted thing inside me, and that's what I'm putting pressure on myself for with the kids is, okay, I need them to be at this particular level so that I know that they're learning this and know this. And it's just kind of dawning on me right now because I'm a little slow sometimes or a little stubborn or whatever the
stubborn is good.
The negative adjective is
annoying.
Annoying. Like our oldest used to say, instead of annoying, she used to say annoying.
Annoying. She couldn't say it right when she was little.
Yeah. So I'm just realizing now that it's hard to get that standardization mindset out of your brain. And I'm sure a lot of other people listening to this that homeschool may have the same kind of issue that I've had. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe
it's true.
I'm more of a rare case, but
it's true.
I think that has been my biggest hiccup with
right.
all of it.
So I think the first thing to remember and to think about is changing your expectations and then constantly checking in with yourself about your expectations and how that's coming out with how you're treating your children and doing the homeschool. And if there's frustrations, then you're probably forcing something or you are having an expectation that is unrealistic for homeschool versus not. And then the second thing is that curriculum can and will change.
Yeah.
And every child is different. Every year is different. And it's okay if you change, you're allowed to do that, change curriculum. And I will also say that we kind of take a year-round approach. Mm-hmm. We aren't on like the regular school schedule. I mean, for the year, technically, yes, but we take a year-round approach so that if there's a week where, we're not feeling well or there's more traveling or, whatever it may be, that's okay because we know that this is just a continuous thing for us, and hey, if the girls have to get out and do their lessons on a Saturday because, we took it easy for a day or two during the week, that's okay too. Like there's no rules, which can be hard for people who love rules, which is you. But
guidelines and plans.
Yeah,
outlines.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say the next thing would be to focus on, enjoying the leeway that homeschool gives you. Like we don't have to get up at 6:30 a.m., start getting kids ready for school, make all their lunches, sign all this paperwork, work on this homework, this activity and that activity and this school function and this conference and whatnot. I know that I'm in a place in my life right now where we could not keep up with that for 5+ children. it is a lot, you know, and that's again weighing the pros and cons of putting your children in school or homeschooling them. Is for some people, having them at school is exactly what they need, and it's worth it to do all those things. For me, it's the opposite.
Well, when we had the 5 older kids in school, all in school a few years ago, it was a madhouse in the morning getting them all ready in time. I mean, that's 5 kids trying to get them all ready within an hour's time.
It was sure nice when you dropped them off, though.
It was suddenly quiet. It's like, oh. But then when we pick them up, it was an insane madhouse until they went to bed,
and the bull would melt down.
Yeah, and it wasn't steady. It was crazy, then overly calm, and then crazy again. And whereas with homeschooling, it's still crazy. Don't get me wrong. There's still a lot of.
But your days are your days.
Your days are your days, and there's not a constant up and down with the levels of.
Yeah.
I don't know, difficulty or volume.
Whatever is
involved with lots of kids. Super crazy.
It's your favorite word, I swear.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But, you know, in the morning, our oldest is kind of a night owl, so she can get a little extra sleep. And I get up in the morning and have coffee with Miss New York, our 9-year-old, almost 10-year-old, actually, every morning. You know, she's our old soul, and she loves coffee and yoga. She's amazing, actually. She's like the coolest kid ever. And she will, if I'm not down yet, if she gets up early, you know, she'll get coffee going, and then she'll just, you know, wait. And it's like this morning thing that we get to do. And we might not even get to the coffee till like 10 a.m. But it doesn't matter. We can do that, you know. And I'm finding that for us, having mornings together as a family, making coffee, you and I might get some work done kind of around the children as we're doing breakfast and cleanup.
Yeah, usually
you know, doing some posts or, you know, working on some things. And then, you know, we have lunch, and then the baby, we still call her the baby. She's 2.5, if you can believe that.
She'll be the baby when she's 30.
I know. We, you know, get her down for her nap, and then the bull has quiet time, and really finding that's the prime time for homeschool for the older 4 kids is the afternoons, early evenings, you know, and that's okay too. I'm having to let go and be okay with that. That's okay too, you know? So, you know, and that may change. That may change when, you know, a couple kids go through a different phase, you know, but right now we're finding the flow for us is, you know, spending time together in the mornings, and then when it's not so crazy, as you like to say, when the younger 2 are in quiet time or bed or nap time, then we can do homeschool easier.
There's no needed schedule with homeschooling.
And I know people who, you can, you know, I have a friend who has a large family like me, and she's a teacher, and they have a very rigid schedule, you know, and that works for them. And that's how she gets through her day, and she thrives with them. And that's just not how I work. That's not how I operate. So, you know, this is why when you ask somebody how they homeschool, they hesitate to answer, because there's so many different little factors, including what your personality is as the parent that's taken on this role of teaching, and what your children's personalities and learning styles are, and day to day, you know, things change. It's a very hard, you know, even how much we've shared is a lot, because it's going to be different for everyone. And so if you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh my gosh, like I could never just let go that much. You don't have to let go that much. You know, you can find a way of homeschooling that your child thrives in and that you can manage, and you can make your days how you want. That is the whole point. You know, if your day works better where you guys get up in the morning, have breakfast, get it done, and then you do afternoon activities, that's great. And you can do that. You know, if you want to follow the school year schedule, you know, so that keeps you kind of more on point, that's great. And you can do that. There aren't any rules about it. So I know that each state has different laws. So you need to look into your state laws and make sure you're abiding by the homeschool laws. But then beyond that, it's really on what the right ebb and flow is for your family. You know, and I've seen families do it so many different ways because that's how it works for their family. Just make sure you aren't forcing things and things aren't getting frustrating. If that's happening, then it's time to reevaluate the situation.
Yeah, because the whole point of homeschooling is to have a more flexible environment for the kids, more loving environment for the kids, and if it's getting stressful, then something's being done wrong somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it's happened to us. It's probably happened to everyone who's homeschooled at one point or another.
Yeah.
Because it can be a lot. It really is a full-time job to homeschool. I mean, you think of parenting in general. Parenting is, 2 full-time jobs, but
Right.
you throw in homeschool, having to be a teacher
Right.
on top of a parent and on top of a career that you may have. That's a lot of responsibility.
We felt like we're drowning at times for sure. I mean, that is
Oh
a
yeah,
lot.
it's not. There have been many times where it's not even keeping our head above water. It's just trying to see if I can come up for one breath occasionally. It's tough.
What's neat about it, though, what's neat about homeschooling is like, so our oldest is 14. She's our animal advocate, and she does her schoolwork and gets it out of the way, so then she can then go and learn things about what she wants to learn about. So she does like her basic like reading and language and math and social studies, geography, all that stuff. And then she takes time on the computer to research every kind of animal or different environments. Or for a while she was into herbs. Like she could tell me about any kind of herb or whatever. Like she was trying to see if she could know enough information about plants if she wanted to live in the wilderness alone. Could she take care of herself, And so she just researches all this stuff and learns this knowledge way beyond what a 7th or 8th grader, she's now 8th grade, would be learning.
When she was in that little phase, she was learning things about herbs and plants that was on the level of like a naturopath.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I'm not
even...
She could tell us like what it could heal, how it could heal, what it could help, what it aids in, or to stay away from this one. I mean, the details that, she was drawing them all. She had a journal and she would draw all what they look like. And then she wrote down what they aided in, what they help in, what they're good for, if they're digestible, if only the flower part is digestible, the whole plant, totally in detail.
If there was a national board exam on herbs and plants,
she'd pass it.
She would have aced it.
Yeah, she would have.
I'd go and walk the dog with her, and we have a discussion, and she was teaching me things. And it wasn't what I learned when I was in school or what I focused on after school, and so I had just like a basic knowledge of that stuff. But
so I love that for her. Instead of worrying about what everyone else is doing and being at school for 7 or 8 hours, and then having homework and all this stuff, like she's getting to really learn about things that she loves to learn about, and she also adopts and rescues animals, and she can spend time with them. And we've recently she has pet rats, and a few have not been well, and she's been able to take care of them during the day when they need it, things like that. Now our son, who's 12, he is super book smart. Like he's just genius, and he just flies through his work, just gets it done, so then he can go and create his Legos, and he's just a master at everything he touches, so for him,
that he gets from his mom.
Oh, thank you. I wasn't expecting that. Thanks.
Well, I always tell you, everything that you put your mind to, you're like amazing at.
Oh, thanks.
And not everyone can do that.
Right.
It's an uncanny ability.
He's super sweet. Thank you. So he gets through his schoolwork, gets it done, and then that way he can work on things he's interested in. And our girls, who are 9 and 8 right now, they don't really like doing the schoolwork. They rather have a YouTube channel. That's really what they want to do. They want to have they want to watch can we watch our YouTubers like the Merrill twins? And we cut them off from watching YouTubers for a while because they were getting sassy. But
it was ridiculous when an 8-year-old
sassy,
like
man.
She was in her 20s.
Yeah, we're like, nope. So they just would, I think, want to spend all day working on a YouTube channel and being YouTube stars. But they do their work hesitantly, and then they're best friends. And I love that they're getting the opportunity to just cultivate that relationship right now. I love it. So, so we see different pluses in all the children getting to do it. It's not hard on them at all. It's hard on us.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting too is when you go to public school or even private school, you know, there's the curriculum. And so every kid has to abide by this curriculum and pass these tests and these classes to move on. And what's really interesting with homeschooling is we see the strengths with all our kids, and they
Right.
vary. Like with our oldest kid, when it comes to language arts and reading
And writing.
and writing, she writes better than probably 8% of all adults. Like
You think so?
her writing's impressive to me.
Yeah.
I think it's really good.
She
And
comes to me with all these book ideas. It blows my mind.
Yeah, for 14, she's a good writer. With math, it's not that she's not good at math. She just doesn't.
hates it.
She hates it. She doesn't see any value in it. She doesn't think it's worth anything, so she doesn't try, and it drives me nuts because I know when she tries, she's good at it.
But this is a good This is a good example. So I'm taking over doing math with her now.
Yes.
Because what's the point in doing homeschool if you're just going to have frustration and that kind of stuff there? That kind of defeats the purpose. So I am taking over that, and everyone is relieved.
Right. And then with our son, like you say, he doesn't really have to try very hard at all. He just does what he needs to do, does okay, and then moves on. And it's like, all right, well, you could do better, but you didn't do too bad. It's, he's a boy. Boys just do the bare minimum to get by. That's what I did when I was a kid too.
That's funny.
Miss New York, it's interesting because with her, she takes longer to go through her lessons. She's very
That's her personality.
methodical and thorough. And at first I was wondering, like, what's taking you so long to do all this? But it's just that she's just taking her time.
Attention to detail.
Right. She's not trying to rush through it. And our 8-year-old, she's a little bit like her older brother. She can fly through things and do well enough and do okay. But don't have to worry too much about her just yet. 'Cause she's 8. But and then the bull is just the bull.
He's really challenging. We're just getting into it with him, and it's hard. He has a hard time with his attention and keeping it down. So we're actually in the middle of figuring out what
is best for him.
We are, and that's okay, and we'll figure it out, and that's part of the journey. That's what it is. It's a journey.
Yeah.
That's why you can't just always give one, answer to the question of, oh, you're homeschooling. How do you do it? If we were to do a homeschool podcast a year from now or 5 years from now, it would be completely different. So
maybe we won't even be homeschooling.
I don't know. So,
Who knows?
this that we're sharing right now is just for in this stage of our lives, and it could be completely different next year.
Yeah.
So again, I guess to kind of sum up, it's just check your expectations, do what works best for your family and for that child, enjoy the perks of it. We love when all the kids go back to school. We're like, oh, we can use the pool at our, in our community because everyone's back at school, or if I want to take my son out on a date on a Monday to a movie, it's or Tuesday, there's going to be no lines or no issues or that kind of thing. So enjoy you can travel at different times of the year and just different things like that. Just enjoy those aspects of it.
What I really enjoyed is last week I got up early one morning to go to the gym, and we live pretty close to it, so I was walking to the gym around the same time everyone else was taking their kids to school up the road, and I have never seen as much traffic on that road because I'm never on that particular road during that time of the morning. And while all those parents are stressing out getting their kids to school, I'm just walking to the gym, listening to a podcast, and going to work out, and then heading home, get some breakfast, and then we start our day with, and then get to homeschooling eventually later after everyone's slept in.
Yeah, everyone can sleep in, and
it's just a more peaceful beginning to the day than the hectic Monday through Friday grind.
And I just also want to add, everyone pitches in throughout the day. Like, you can't have 8 people at home and homeschooling 6 kids and not have everyone pitch in. You know, when we have breakfast at meal times afterwards, everyone gets a job to do. So it's like clean up the dining room, clean off the counters, whose turn is it to do the dishes? Somebody does the floors. Like our floors get swept about 3 times a day. They have to.
Oh yeah.
You know, and
so nasty.
The older kids will even help and take turns with the baby in the evening so that we can get the other kids to bed. And so everyone pitches in, you know, but at the same, like, once they do their lessons and they've pitched in and helped with some jobs, they get the rest of their day to watch their favorite shows and to play together and to play their Legos or, you know, hang out. And so
watch their YouTubers.
Yeah. Once in a while, they'll say something to me like, you know, oh, I don't want to have to do that. And I'm like, if you were at school all day, you know, I mean, and I'll ask them, like, how much have you been able to do today? What have you been able to do that you wanted to do? And they're like, lots of stuff. I've been able to watch this show or movie and play with my Legos and hang out, you know? And I'm like, okay, so you can sweep. Like, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So they don't complain too often because I don't allow ungratefulness in our home. It upsets me. So
yeah,
but yeah, everyone pitches in, you know, everyone pitches in to pick up, everyone pitches in with the younger kiddos, and that's the only way it would work anyways. So yeah, that's just another little insight thing. So
another thing too also is that we will do that for they'll always want to get on the computer or we have a stop motion camera app on the little iPod that some of the kids like to make some stop motion videos with the Lego characters. And so for incentive to use some of these electronic devices, we'll say, okay, well, we need a load of laundry folded upstairs. You can go ahead and do that. Or next time the baby has a poopy diaper.
They basically work for their privileges.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Do a job for us and get 30 minutes on, you know, to watch YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
To be a YouTubee, watching a YouTuber.
It's so funny because I can't stand YouTube and I don't want my kids on it, but somehow they've found a few YouTubers that they love to. I think we had the kids YouTube app on a Nabby at one point, and that's how this started. Yeah. So we have to monitor. I monitor to make sure that they all know, though. Don't worry, Mom. It's only appropriate stuff. You know, like they know how I feel about it. I make it very clear. So, yeah. So I think this podcast has probably been just as good for us as for anyone listening, because we've been able to kind of process some things and maybe think about, you know, changing some expectations on a few things and just going with the flow a little bit more. But
yeah, going with the flow is not always an easy thing for me to do. I tend to be very rigid with plans and things like that, and it's with homeschooling that is just defeats the purpose.
Well, yeah, and we're not homeschooling.
Which I know.
We're not homeschooling 1 or 2 kids though. So you can't be. You have to be able to go with the flow. Like if you made a routine, you would just get frustrated that the routine wasn't working out all the time. At least I think so. You know. Plus, I'm not going to uphold your routine, so I'm going to be no help to you.
See what I have to work with?
It's just not going to happen. All right, you guys. So I hope that gives you some good ideas or a few tips, or if anything, you know, if you are homeschooling, just some solidarity, or for those of you that aren't homeschooling and you're just nosy, I hope that fulfilled your nosy quota of the week.
Yeah. We have definitely had some comments about it.
Yeah. So
questions, I should say. But
and we'll be sharing, you know, more about what's going on with me later. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this. And
if you haven't yet, go to iTunes and subscribe to our podcast. So when it drops, you get it right on your phone. It
actually is kind of cool to get the notification.
Yeah, it is.
Well, maybe for me it is because it's our podcast. But
yeah, we do subscribe to our own podcast.
Yeah.
I look forward to like, hey, a new podcast is on my
you
phone.
Listen to each of them like 3 times. I don't.
2 times.
Okay.
Once while I'm editing it, and then another time.
Usually you're laying the baby down.
Yeah, or walking to and from the gym or something like that. But yeah, I kind of take notes in my mind of things I want to change or whatnot. So anyway, subscribe, give us a rating. preferably a 5-star one. Give us a review. We like to read those.
Yeah.
They've been really nice.
All right. Well, we love you guys, and we hope that you have a great week and that we'll get a podcast out on time on Friday. Take care.
Adios.